Elserwi, and today I will be talking about the role of instruction in second language oral fluency development. I'll start with the outline of my presentation. So I'll start with a background, followed by the research objectives and the measures of fluency. Then I'll talk about some untraditional instructional techniques developed in classrooms, then the findings, and finally the conclusion. I'll start with the definition of fluency. Oral fluency has two meanings, the broad or lay meaning and the narrow one. So in its lay meaning, it's defined as a synonym for the one's overall proficiency as someone's fluent in a specific language. When we say he is fluent in Chinese or Japanese, in this context, we are describing the speaker's second language fluency in terms of vocabulary, error-free grammar, and or the native-like pronunciation. In its narrow context or narrow sense, it's defined as the ability to talk about or talk at length with few pauses, or the ability to fill time with talk. So this is and this narrow sense is the concern of this research. Oral fluency is of great importance to second language learners who need to be able to participate in social, occupational, and academic context. And many of them invest much time and in some cases considerable financial resources in an attempt to develop their second language fluency, and that's why oral fluency is perhaps the most important skill in second language acquisition. There are three types of oral fluency. The first is the utterance fluency, which refers to the temporal pausing, hesitation, and repair characteristics of utterance, which is measured by temporal features such as syllable rate, duration and rate of hesitation, and filled and silent pauses. The second type is the cognitive fluency, which refers to the fluid operation of the cognitive processes responsible for performing second language speech acts. This includes the elements such as planning, short-term memory, and appropriate choice of grammar. The third type is the perceived fluency, which refers to the subjective judgments made by made about the second language speakers or speech samples. These judgments usually range from extremely disfluent to extremely fluent. Traditional instructional techniques used for promoting fluency have included pattern practice and drill, but these techniques have come to be seen as incompatible with communicatively oriented approaches. That's why many students do not receive sufficient second language meaning oriented practice. In fact, there are some factors that impede the fluency development, such as time limitations, class size, the predomination of other language skills, such as listening and reading and writing, and finally the negative attitude towards the second language. In studying the second language fluency, previous research typically addressed questions about the temporal aspects and hesitation phenomena. The literature shows that a large number of studies focused on to what degree the speech flows and to what extent that flow is interrupted by hesitation, pauses, and false starts. Some untraditional instructional techniques were developed, and they will be reviewed in this research. Now with the objectives of my research. So the first objective is to investigate the relationship between type of instruction and the oral fluency development. The second one is to explore the feasibility of teaching techniques such as drama-based instruction, computer-mediated communication, CMC, outdoor speaking activities, and finally the smartphones recordings in different settings. Now with measures of oral fluency. Given that fluency level ranges from extremely fluent to extremely disfluent, measures of fluency are often categorized into three clusters. Breakdown fluency, which refers to how many times and for how long a continuous speech is interrupted by pauses. The second measure is the speed fluency, which refers to how many words or syllables are delivered per minute. And the last one is the repair fluency, that's referred to how frequently learners repeat the same words or correct their utterances. In empirical research, researchers usually collect the participants' speech samples and rate them on fluency scale pre and post treatment. So these studies these studies range in length between few hours and 1 year. The samples are collected through face-to-face and virtual interviews, personal narrative tasks, story retelling, and picture description. Move on now to the instructional techniques developed in previous research to help learners improving their oral fluency. The first one is the drama-based instruction. This study took place over 4 months, and the researchers in this study aimed at investigating the influence of instruction adapted from drama on second language fluency, comprehensibility, and accent. In this study, the drama-based and regular English as a foreign language activities were blended into each lesson. This was done by including linguistic and situational elements from the assigned textbook. For example, when a lesson focused on a particular lexical unit, such as the adjectives to describe people, the drama activities were designed to offer practice of the same linguistic items through role-playing and simulation games. To assess the performance or the development of the students, the researchers used 5 assessment tasks. The first person picture narration, third person picture narration, video narration, role playing, and monologue. These tasks, the results of these tasks show significant gains in second language oral fluency, specifically in number of pauses and hesitations. Results also show relative improvement in comprehensibility, but accent doesn't seem to benefit from this type of instruction when compared to the traditional instruction. Accent of the students in control and subject groups witnessed limited development. The second technique is the computer-aided communication, CMC. This study took place over the course of 12 weeks, and the author in this research is investigating the effect of online teaching on the improvement of students' fluency and productivity of authentic English. The study employs the use of computer-aided communication for teaching English as a foreign language and measures to what extent the oral fluency aspects can develop. The author in this study uses the Yahoo Messenger platform as the means of instruction. For assessment, he used the listening and speaking tasks. The speaking tasks were meant to measure the students' ability to speak about, to improvise speech about different topics and in different situations. The results show a significant difference in the fluency levels between pre and post tests. The largest gains were in the aspects of productivity of ideas and self-confidence. The author actually attributed these results to the more relaxing and untraditional atmosphere the students experienced during these classes. Although students attended the classes in the school lab, but the experience seemed appealing to them. The third one is the learning in an outdoor context. This study was carried out over 3 days. The aim of this study was to measure the effect of outdoor learning on learners' motivation and willingness to communicate in the second language. The authors in this study adopted the constructivism approach, which focuses on acquiring knowledge through social interactions. Also, all the activities in this study were about real life situations, like describing places, describing people, and asking for directions, and so on. For assessment, the data were collected during and post treatment through semi-structured interviews. The results show that the students were more confident in using the target language in outdoor environment than inside classroom. The interviews also showed a more raise in willingness to communicate and reduction in foreign language anxiety. The last technique is the video recordings using smartphones. This study took place over 690-minute sessions. The aim of this study was to investigate the effectiveness of smartphone recordings in improving fluency level. In this study, the authors measured 4 aspects: delivery of speech, phrasing, smoothness, and pace. Delivery of speech refers to the student's ability to deliver information directly without the intervention of other tools, such as the written materials. The phrasing refers to any frequently repeated or memorable group of words, usually shorter than a sentence in length and complexity. The smoothness refers to the ease of regularity with which a speaker can deliver spoken content. Finally, the pace refers to the speech rate per minute. In this study, the students were required to self-record their presentations and share them on the classroom group. They were asked to talk about their favorite TV show and to include aspects about this show, such as the name of the show, its nationality, their favorite part of the show, and the reasons for selecting this particular show. For assessment, the authors used speaking tasks and interviews. The aim of these interviews was to determine the student's perception on the usefulness of this technique. The results show that there was a noticeable improvement in the 4 aspects, with pace on top of them. The interviews also show that there was a positive feedback by most of the students, with some complaints about the need to re-record their presentations before sharing them with the group. The findings of this research are as follows. Instruction can significantly impact the second language oral fluency development. That is why teachers need to adopt the teaching techniques that provide more meaningful or meaning-oriented practice opportunities. Number two, pauses and hesitation appear to be the most beneficiaries from fluency instruction, while accent is the least. Three, more cognitively demanding tasks such as planning and the use of short and long memory result in less fluent speech production. The last point is that drama-based instruction is the most feasible technique because it can be used in both in-person and online modes, while the CMC and smartphone recordings are less feasible because they require technology infrastructure, which is not available in many schools. They also require more control by the teachers, not to mention the technical issues that may arise anytime. In conclusion, untraditional instructional techniques provide learners with more meaning-oriented practice opportunities, and the students need more of these opportunities in classrooms. Using technology in classrooms can also help learners developing their oral fluency. Second language teachers need to be eclectic on the techniques and tasks they use inside classrooms. And finally, it's recommended that the future research need to investigate the impact of task-based peer interaction on the second language oral fluency development. By this, I come to the end of my presentation, and here is the a list of my references there, and thank you for watching this presentation.